My cousin was scrolling online when she saw a video claiming bar girls could earn a fortune every month. She asked me if it was a good idea. I told her that no profession is inherently noble or shameful. Heartened, she contacted an online blogger. It wasn't long before she started working. The result? The bar was raided by the police before she could earn a single cent. She was detained for a month, and the incident even made local news. Everyone knew she had worked as a bar girl. Her parents were humiliated and disowned her. She became a pariah, shunned by everyone, and she blamed me for everything. In the middle of the night, she led a gang of thugs into my home. "Stella HSU, you call yourself a human being? How can you find a good job while all I wanted was to earn a lot of money and ended up like this? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have become a bar girl. It's all your fault," she shrieked. For 24 hours, my mother and I lived through hell. I bled to death. When I opened my eyes, I was back to that very day. The day she asked me if she should become a bar girl. "Cousin, look at this video. Bar girls can earn 100,000 yuan a month. Is it true? Will I be looked down upon if I do that kind of work?" My cousin, Luna Jiang, held her phone up to me, her eyes sparkling, her innocent, youthful face full of curiosity. On the screen was a beautiful girl, wearing a tight-fitting dress, heavily made up, eyes brimming with tears, walking and taking a selfie video. The text on the screen read, "What about working at a bar? I earn 100,000 yuan a month. When you're broke and everyone turns you down for a loan, you'll understand that bitter, helpless feeling. I don't want to experience it ever again." The background music accompanying this video was incredibly alluring to lost, unemployed, and naive young girls. This was the same song Luna Jiang had listened to repeatedly before she died. Instinctively, I touched my pelvis. I didn't know if it was psychological, but I could still feel a dull ache in the part of my pelvis that those thugs had broken before I died. Seeing my silence, Luna Jiang opened the comment section herself, scrolling and muttering, "Oh, everyone's asking to be guided into this work. Do so many people really want this job? Please guide me. The pressure at work is too much and the pay is low. Where can I change jobs? I want to change jobs now. I graduated but still haven't found a job. Cousin, do you think I'd be a good fit? Looking for a spot, does it include food, lodging, and travel?" Without exception, every comment was accompanied by a heavily edited selfie. She whispered, "These people aren't even as pretty as me. If I went to work at a bar, maybe I'd earn even more, huh? But I'm afraid of being looked down upon." I shifted my gaze from the phone to her face, my heart pounding. The despair, indignation, and unwillingness I felt before my death surged through me. I lowered my head to hide the hatred in my eyes, but when I looked up, my gaze was only filled with worry. "Luna, while it's true that no profession is inherently noble or shameful, this kind of work isn't easy. Your family isn't that desperate. You don't need to sell your beauty or even your body to earn money. If your aunt and uncle found out, they'd probably break your legs." Her hopeful eyes slowly dimmed, the corners of her mouth drooping. Her voice was tinged with bitterness. "You said it yourself, cousin, no profession is noble or shameful. The job market is terrible this year. Even university graduates are working factory jobs screwing bolts. I only went to vocational college and majored in accounting. How can I find a good job? Working at a bar earns 100,000 yuan a month. That's more than you earn in half a year. My parents will understand." A leopard cannot change its spots. Even if I tried to dissuade her this time, she would still be attracted to that sweet, pie-in-the-sky trap, just like in my previous life. But I also understood her. She graduated in July, and it was now January of the next year, and she still hadn't found a suitable job, having holed up at home for the past 6 months. I didn't know how much mental pressure her aunt and uncle had put on her, especially with Chinese New Year approaching. Relatives were already trying to set her up on blind dates. She considered herself a new-age independent woman and scorned such arrangements. In her eyes, men who needed matchmaking to find a partner surely had some unspoken issues. As for the relatives who introduced dates, most just wanted to use her to repay favors. The more blind dates she went on, the more she hated the idea of marriage. She only wanted to build her own career, earn a lot of money to silence the relatives who called her a freeloader. Moreover, many of them constantly compared me to her. I had started working at a large company in the provincial capital right after graduating last year. My initial salary was 8,000 yuan, and after a year, it had risen to 15,000 yuan. Among young people my age, I wasn't exceptionally brilliant, even quite ordinary. But in my family, my generation only had two girls, me and Luna Jiang. We were only 1 year apart, and from childhood, we were constantly compared by relatives. And she was always a step behind me. I attended a prestigious university, while she only went to vocational college. My mother is a high school teacher, and my father started his own company, which has some local reputation. My uncle, spoiled by my grandparents since childhood, was a mediocre student. His job as a security team leader at my father's company was also arranged by my father. My aunt was a kindergarten teacher before getting married and became a homemaker after. I was well-behaved, polite, and understanding. She was mischievous from a young age. In high school, she even dated early, which led to her parents being called to school, and she had little respect for adults. We were both only children, but from academics to adult favor, she was always inferior to me. The more this was the case, the more she wanted to compete with me, wanting to be better than me at everything. Initially, her father intended to ask my father for help, to get her a job as an accounting assistant at our family company, but as soon as she heard the salary was only 5,000 yuan, she immediately refused. Even though I only went to vocational college, 5,000 yuan is too low. My cousin can find any job for over 10,000 yuan. I won't do it. She didn't know that in this small, third-tier town, that position paying 5,000 yuan was already a favor to my father. If they hired externally, there were countless university graduates vying for 4,000 yuan, and even those were scarce. If the salary was low, she wouldn't take it. If the work was hard, she wouldn't do it. Would a high-paying job just fall into her lap? The matter remained unresolved, an unsolvable problem. Just like in my previous life, she contacted the blogger again right in front of me. "Sister, I also want to work at a bar. Can you take me with you?" The person asked her to send a full-body photo. She chose a picture of herself in a tight, high-slit cheongsam, heavily made up, and sent it. But after sending it, there was no reply for a long time, and she began to worry. "Cousin, what do they mean? Why haven't they answered me? Is it because I'm not pretty enough, or is my figure not good?" I was about to speak but stopped, wanting to try and persuade her one last time. "Luna, I think this is just a marketing account. Saying you can earn 100,000 yuan a month is a bit exaggerated." Before I could finish, her phone vibrated. She glanced at it and jumped with joy. "Yay! They said my conditions are excellent and hope I start working soon." They even said with my looks, earning 100,000 yuan a month is modest. I glanced at the screen. The person was indeed very pleased with her, showering her with continuous praise. No wonder she was so agitated. To be honest, Luna Jiang's appearance was indeed quite good. With a little makeup, she was no less attractive than many online influencers. Recently, she had tried her hand at online content creation, but unfortunately, despite her beauty, she didn't hit it big. Everything she posted was bland, and she truly didn't earn a cent from it. She had even been conned out of 10,000 yuan in tuition fees by a media company, and since then, she had completely given up on her dream of becoming an internet celebrity. Seeing her so excited, I thought for a moment and decided to give it one last try. "Luna, you should still be a bit wary of these online things. What if it's a scam?" She glared at me, her face full of annoyance. "Cousin, can you stop ruining my mood? This isn't the first time I've seen videos like this. Before, I also saw many girls working at bars to earn money, but they earned too little. Only 1 or 2,000 a day, so I didn't pay attention. Now I've finally found someone who earns so much. Even if it could be a scam, I still want to try once. What if it's real? That's 100,000 yuan a month. Who knows, I might earn more in a month than you do in a whole year." Sound reasoning is hard to move someone who has decided to walk down the wrong path. In my previous life, I couldn't stop her, leading to the tragic end she met. Truthfully, I always felt a little guilty. But that guilt completely vanished the moment she brought that gang of hooligans into my house and ordered them to torture my mother and me for 24 hours. Reborn, I only advised her out of a faint sense of sisterhood from 2 lifetimes. She didn't listen. Later, if anything went wrong, she would surely find countless excuses to blame all her misfortunes on me. This time, I would take action proactively, protect my family, push her into the abyss, and ensure she never had a chance to harm me again. I sighed, feigning compromise. "All right, your choices are your own to make, and you'll bear the consequences yourself. I've said what I needed to say, and if you don't listen, there's nothing more I can do." She looked at me warily, clutching my wrist tightly. "You won't tell my parents, will you, cousin? You're not the gossiping type, are you?" Perhaps she was too tense, her grip was a little strong, making my wrist ache. I brushed her hand away and said coldly, "I told you I won't interfere in your affairs." She breathed a sigh of relief, made a quick excuse, and left my house. Just like in my previous life, she packed her bags that night, and the next morning she got into a car sent by the blogger. Coincidentally, the blogger's workplace was in this very area. That's why in my previous life, when the establishment was raided, the news of Luna Jiang working as a bar girl spread like wildfire. From the time she started working until the establishment was shut down, it was only a month. If nothing changed, her fate would be identical to my previous life. To prevent her from going crazy and blaming me for her misfortunes again, I had someone replace our front door and reinforce the entire wall structure. The old door was weak, one strong kick would have forced it open. Now, even an electric drill couldn't open the new door. I knew that at that place, she initially only did normal waitressing work. However, the place showed signs of drug use and disguised prostitution, which was why in my previous life, she was only administratively detained for a month. This time, when she asked me if entertaining clients involved drugs was illegal, I didn't give a lengthy answer, didn't cite laws or offer advice as before. I just calmly replied, "I don't know." At the same time, I deliberately showed off. My dad gave me a 300 square meter apartment for my birthday. I've wanted it for a long time but couldn't bring myself to buy it. Her expression immediately darkened, her voice full of envy. Earning money isn't easy. Children like us should be considerate of our parents, not just demand things. I blinked innocently. But I'm an only child. If my parents don't spend money on me, who will they spend it on? Aren't your parents' earnings also saved for you? This sentence was like a stab to her heart. Only her father earned money, and his salary wasn't even enough to cover their mortgage. Normally, they even had to rely on her maternal grandparents for financial support. They certainly didn't have any surplus to save for her. Stung by my counterattack, she angrily left. A few days later, Aunt Jiang came to my house to visit, showing off a large gold bracelet on her wrist. "Oh, my little Luna is so capable. She's only been working for a few days and already received a bonus. This 50-gram gold bracelet is a gift from her." My mother and I exchanged forced smiles. Our house was full of such gold jewelry. Showing it off to us meant nothing. Besides, this bracelet might just be a harbinger of her daughter's doom. I counted the days, and finally the day of the raid on that establishment arrived. But that evening, Luna Jiang was not arrested. Instead, she appeared at my house. I returned home from work and saw the person who should have been at the police station sitting in our living room. My head was full of questions. Seeing me, Luna Jiang's heavily made-up face broke into a knowing smile, but what she said next sent chills down my spine. "Cousin, you must be surprised, right? Why am I here instead of in detention?" "Let me tell you, do you think you're the only one who's been reborn?" I froze for a moment but quickly regained my composure. I pretended to act natural and sat opposite her. "Luna, what are you talking about? Reborn, why would you be in detention?" She narrowed her eyes, scrutinizing me intently. The corners of her mouth curled into an increasingly sarcastic smirk. "Not admitting it. Stella HSU, do you want me to help you recall what happened in our previous life?" My mother came out of the kitchen with a plate of fruit. Seeing the tense atmosphere between us, she asked curiously, "What's wrong, girls? You both look strange." Luna Jiang, who was never very close to my mother, suddenly acted affectionately, even taking the plate of fruit from my mother's hands. "Oh, Auntie, my cousin and I are very close. I heard you and my cousin went shopping the other day. You liked an 8,000 yuan dress but hesitated to buy it, right? Well, I brought it for you today. Hurry and try it on to see if it fits." With that, she handed my mother a paper bag next to her, urging her to go to her room and try it on. My gut told me she certainly didn't have good intentions. My mother, though a bit surprised, didn't want to embarrass her and took the bag into her room. Only the two of us remained in the living room. Luna Jiang got up from the sofa, walked around, and sat close to me, her right arm draped over my shoulder. She leaned in and whispered in my ear, "My dearest cousin, why didn't I notice before? You have such a beautiful figure, and Auntie, she's still quite attractive too. Ms. Wang said her factory in North City needs a mature woman with charisma and experience. I think Auntie would be a perfect fit." A chill shot from the soles of my feet to the top of my head. Ms. Wang was the owner of the establishment in South City in my previous life. That time, when it was raided, she luckily escaped because she was in the hospital for an appendectomy. Her husband took all the blame. Afterwards, she moved to North City and continued to run her network there. This life, Luna Jiang was still safe and sound. So when exactly was she reborn? Had she warned them in advance, helping them avoid the crackdown? If the establishment in South City hadn't been raided, then Luna Jiang's current status? Thinking this, my mind was almost in chaos. Before I could think clearly, she suddenly acted, gripping my chin tightly, her eyes, which were 5 or 6 parts similar to mine, now filled with hatred. Heh heh, scared now? Stella HSU, you were reborn, so why didn't you tell me the truth? You clearly could have prevented everything, could have saved me from jumping into that pit of fire. Do you know, I almost reenacted the old tragedy. I almost became a pariah everyone wanted to beat to death, just like in the previous life. I kept my composure, meeting her gaze head-on, my eyes gradually turning cold. Luna Jiang, ask yourself, if I had told you about being reborn and advised you not to go, would you have believed me? 100,000 yuan a month, could you have let that go? Even if you had listened, what if you regretted it later? Wouldn't you still blame me for not trying to stop you that day? How much did you really listen? We are both adults with our own minds. If you don't want to eat dirt, then no matter how many spices I mix in to make a gourmet dish, you still won't eat it. Someone who could commit such extreme acts in their previous life, how could they be a good person? In your very bones, you are steeped in selfishness and malice. As long as I live a little better than you can't stand it. That's the resentment and jealousy accumulated over 20 years. Your mentality has long been distorted beyond recognition. The emotions in her eyes were complex. Finally, she released my chin, sighed, and gave a self-deprecating laugh. Yes, 100,000 yuan a month is indeed too great a temptation. I couldn't resist it. But why do you so easily get love, get money, while I have to sacrifice so much to be considered your equal? Based on what? You only have good parents, that's all. If we swapped places, I don't believe you could still speak so righteously. Not swayed by temptation, so easy. She only saw everyone favoring me. She saw me find a good job, saw me excel at everything I studied, but she never considered that I had to work incredibly hard for all of it. I'm not a genius. My achievements came from staying up late studying, accumulating knowledge bit by bit. When I was buried in mountains of homework, wishing for every second to be 2, she was having fun. When I cried half the night just for losing a few points on a test, she slept soundly without any pressure, eating well, dressing well, enjoying herself, even calling me petty and a crybaby. And everyone's favoritism towards me was simply because I tried to be a good daughter, not wanting to disappoint my parents. My maternal grandparents originally favored my uncle and aunt, and if I wasn't well behaved, they would find excuses to make my parents take care of my uncle's family. My paternal grandparents always wanted a grandson, but when my mother gave birth to me, she was severely injured. That incident even caused my mother to have her uterus removed, making it impossible for her to have more children. If I wasn't a little well-behaved, didn't know how to please everyone, didn't try to become the pride of the family, then the house would be filled with arguments, chaos, and the relationship between my parents would become strained. And the good job I have now is also something I worked my hardest to achieve. I worked overtime until midnight, even pulling all-nighters to complete projects. Then I'd wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. to go to work. But what about Luna Jiang? She was either playing games at school, oversleeping, going to bars, or sleeping until the afternoon at home, ignoring everything, living comfortably, enjoying all the care from her parents. Clearly, after graduation, I could have worked as a manager in my father's company. But I didn't choose that path. I didn't want people to say I was a rich girl without talent. I had to prove myself at a better company, achieve real accomplishments, and only then return to take over the business my father built for me. Only then could I silence those who always coveted my family's wealth. But Luna Jiang never saw any of that. You can never wake someone who pretends to be asleep. So I didn't need to explain anything further to her. Everyone has their own destiny. So what if I was born with a good fate? Luna Jiang, are you really trying to kill me? Reborn, have you learned nothing? She lowered her head, then slowly looked up at me. Her eyes held an inexplicable emotion. You think you can always stand above everyone else, Stella HSU? This life, I won't be foolish enough to destroy myself again. Everything you have will turn to smoke. What did she mean by that? Before I could react, she quickly stood up, picked up her bag, and walked towards the door. As she opened the door, she tilted her head back, her voice mocking, "Enjoy your last good times. Very soon, you'll have nothing left to enjoy." I didn't fully understand what she intended to do, but I knew, with her personality, some scheme was definitely coming my way. But when a problem arises, I'll deal with it. No matter what tricks she planned, I wouldn't let her achieve her goal. Hey, Stella, Luna left? My mother came out of the room, still wearing the dress Luna Jiang had given her. Yeah, she had something to do and left early, Mom. That dress doesn't suit you, Mom. Change out of it. This dress was the very one my mother wore on the day she died in my previous life. In my previous life, my mother had bought it during a shopping trip with my aunt, while my aunt hadn't. This life, it was the opposite. My aunt bought it, and my mother didn't because she disliked matching. I hadn't expected Luna Jiang to intentionally bring that dress to our house. She was clearly trying to pick a fight. So, she came today to declare war on me. A few days later, Luna Jiang didn't return. I checked online for news about the nightlife spot in South City. Sure enough, it had been raided and shut down. Ms. Wang's husband did indeed take all the blame. Everything played out exactly like in my previous life, and the incident caused quite a stir. The only difference was that Luna Jiang was completely unharmed. On the contrary, she had become Ms. Wang's trusted confidant. She moved with Ms. Wang to North City, no longer having to serve drinks, but becoming an assistant manager there. Ms. Wang retreated behind the scenes, and Luna Jiang became the public face, known as Sister Boss. Aunt Jiang's visits to our house also became more frequent. Before, she might not visit once a month, but now she came every few days. One day she would show off jewelry Luna Jiang bought, another day new clothes, and another day how much spending money her daughter had transferred to her. Once or twice was fine, but after too many times, my mother started to get annoyed. Stella, is there any way to make your aunt stop coming? She's showing off a few pieces of jewelry and clothes like they're treasures. I have a whole closet full of clothes I don't even bother to touch. I don't know what she's showing off about anymore. I'm really stifled. I felt sorry for my mother. As for Aunt Jiang's boasting, I utterly despised it. Luna Jiang was truly her mother's daughter. In this life, she still wanted to compete with me and my mother. Whatever my family had that they didn't, they would now try to make up for it, no matter if it was outdated or not. But it was precisely this love of showing off that gave me an idea. Mom, this weekend is Grandma's birthday, right? How about we do this and that, and then do it like this? My mother's eyes lit up. That's a great idea, my dear. Every year, our family pays and puts in the effort. This year, let them bear some of the burden. Aren't they always showing off how capable their daughter is, earning tens of thousands a month, more than you earn in a whole year? Let them show off to their heart's content. My mother and I discussed the plan in detail. After agreeing, my mother even sent a screenshot to the family group chat, pretending to be surprised and recording a voice message. Oh my, that's beautiful, truly beautiful. That bag must be over 50,000 yuan, right? And those dresses you two are wearing, each must be 20,000 or 30,000 yuan, right? Our Luna is truly capable. She couldn't find a job for half a year, but as soon as she found one, it's a high-paying one. The screenshot was from Aunt Jiang's social media post. Initially, everyone had just scrolled past, silently admiring, and some relatives hadn't even recognized the value of the items. But when my mother explicitly pointed it out, the entire family group chat immediately erupted. Another aunt exclaimed, "Oh my, I know that bag, it really is expensive, so beautiful." Another aunt chimed in, "Your Luna is truly successful, Auntie." Yet another aunt added, "Finally, you get to reap the rewards. You gave birth to such a capable daughter. I knew Luna was talented. She probably just didn't work before to accumulate energy." "Cousin, what kind of job does she do? How much does she earn a month? Can you introduce us?" That's right, if Luna is so capable, she should help her siblings in the family too, shouldn't she? The group was in an uproar, everyone praising and expressing envy. Aunt Jiang kept sending voice messages, her tone full of pride. No problem, no problem. Luna is at work now. I'll ask her when she gets back." This meant Aunt Jiang didn't actually know what kind of job Luna Jiang was doing, which made it even more interesting. I quickly posted a message. Luna has only been working for just over a month and has already bought such expensive bags and dresses. Then this year's grandma's birthday party shouldn't be a problem, right? One sentence made the entire group explode. That's right, Aunt, this weekend is our elder sister's birthday. For the past few years, Stella's family has been in charge. This year, it should be your family's turn, right, Aunt May? Another aunt added, "I remember in previous years, Big Sister's birthday was always held in private room number 1 at Shanghai Hotel, costing at least 70,000 or 80,000 yuan each time. Luna is so capable, and she's your biological daughter, Aunt." Shouldn't she organize something even grander? Haha, this year we finally get to bask in Uncle's family's glory. This weekend, right? Then we'll get another grand feast. Aunt Jiang was silent. No matter how many people mentioned her name repeatedly in the group, there was no response. About half an hour later, Aunt Jiang happily sent a voice message. No problem. I just called Luna. She said she'll book private room number 1 at Xuanzai restaurant this year. The group exploded again, and I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Private room number 1 at Xuanzai had been booked long ago, and even Imperial room number 1 wasn't available. Luna Jiang could only manage to book Heavenly room number 1, and that room had a minimum spend of 188,000 yuan. Luna Jiang, I'll be waiting to see how you empty your wallet. Time flew by, and in a flash it was Grandma's birthday. As expected, Luna Jiang ended up booking Heavenly room number 1. In previous years, some people couldn't make it due to work or studies, but this year, being a weekend, everyone made sure to attend. Looking around, almost all of my maternal grandmother's relatives were present. Before, 2 or 3 tables were enough. This year, all 4 tables were full. As soon as she sat down, Luna Jiang leaned in close to me, gritting her teeth. Stella HSU, you're good, just you wait. I suppressed a smile, turned my head and feigned surprise. Oh, Luna, what did you say? Are you saying the wine tonight is a bottle of 50-year Maotai per table? Earlier, I heard Auntie say it was 30-year Maotai, which costs 13,000 yuan a bottle. 50-year Maotai costs 30,000 yuan a bottle, you know? Luna Jiang's face immediately froze. She stood still for a few seconds. Seeing everyone starting to look over, she forced a smile and gritted her teeth in response. That's right, tonight it's 50-year Maotai. The important thing is that everyone eats and drinks happily. Trying to appear rich, putting on a show of prestige, while lacking true capability. Even as Ms. Wang's confidant now, she couldn't earn hundreds of thousands a month. Tonight's banquet had already exceeded her means. Now, with the added cost of the wine, an additional 60,000 or 70,000 yuan per table, I truly wanted to see how she would fill this hole. Everyone heard her generosity and praised her enthusiastically, raising their glasses in celebration. Grandma, the guest of honor, beamed like a blooming flower. Of course, while praising Luna Jiang, she didn't forget to take a jab at my family. I must say, a biological granddaughter is truly filial, unlike some others. In all these years of celebrating my birthday, they couldn't even book Heavenly room number 1 once, let alone 50-year Maotai, 30,000 a bottle. I've never seen such a thing. Both are in their 20s, but my Luna can already host a birthday party for her grandma. While some people work all year and don't seem to achieve anything. This statement instantly caused the atmosphere in the dining room to freeze. Grandma was probably getting old, and her mind wasn't as sharp as before. But everyone present was experienced and understanding. For many years, my family had organized her birthday parties, spending at least 70,000 or 80,000 yuan each time. Not to mention the daily financial support my family provided to Uncle Jiang's family. Everyone clearly saw all this, yet now, just because Luna Jiang earned a little money, Grandma made thoughtless remarks attacking me. Naturally, no one in the room wanted to humor her further. Seeing no one speaking, she still didn't seem to realize what she had said wrong and continued rambling. After all, a granddaughter from the daughter's side isn't the same as a biological granddaughter. There's still a distance. What's the point of studying so much at a 985 university? It's not as good as my little Luna. She has no ability to speak of and no filial piety to be seen. All those books she read were probably a waste, like throwing them to dogs. The atmosphere became even more awkward. The entire room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Finally, my uncle spoke up, breaking the stalemate. Mother, please watch your words. My elder sister's family has helped us a lot over the years. Luna is just a bit luckier. We don't know what the future holds for her. Unlike Stella, who has a stable job and will eventually inherit her brother-in-law's company. There, my own uncle started again. For years, he occasionally tried to curry favor with my grandparents, hoping to take over my father's company. After all these years, he still hadn't given up his ambition. Sure enough, Grandma listened to that and softened, her eyes darting towards my father. Qiang Ming, Luna is so capable, why don't you let her manage the company? After all, she's family. Whoever is capable should handle big things. What's wrong with that? My parents looked at each other without speaking, pretending not to hear, bowing their heads and remaining absolutely silent. Grandma got angry, slammed the table and stood up. Are you too deaf? What kind of way are you teaching your daughter, Jiang Liu, huh? My mother's shoulder trembled slightly. I grabbed her hand, signaling her not to react, then coldly looked towards Grandma. If Luna Jiang is so capable, why doesn't she build her own business? Grandma, your favoritism is too much. Grandma's face turned purple with rage. She glared at me. You unfilial child, how dare you talk back to your grandmother? Jiang Liuhe, what kind of child are you raising? My mother clenched her fists. I quickly soothed her, my own demeanor just as strong, and stood up to state clearly, Grandma, please ask yourself, how much has my family helped Uncle Jiang's family over the years? Which of your birthday parties wasn't paid for and organized by my family? Is a daughter only born to be demanded from and used? If you insist on making a big deal out of this today, then this meal is unnecessary. After saying that, I tried to pull my mother away, but Luna Jiang grabbed my hand. Cousin, don't be angry. Grandma didn't mean it, and I've never thought about taking over the company. After some coaxing, we finally didn't leave the banquet table. But that meal was indeed very awkward and unpleasant. When it came time to pay, I used the excuse of going to the restroom, but in reality, I secretly followed Luna Jiang. The total cost for tonight's banquet was 280,000 yuan. Luna Jiang had to swipe several credit cards until they were maxed out to pay the full amount. After she finished paying, I intended to return to the room but noticed she was heading out of the hotel. Curious, I followed. Is everything arranged? Have you infiltrated the HSU family home yet? Don't even mention it. The HSU family's locks are too thorough. Our men had to climb in through the second-story window. It was incredibly difficult. Even if that mother and daughter are terrible, my brother's appearance fee needs to increase. Increase it all? Just make sure you humiliate those two bitches properly. Get some videos and hot photos, that's all. Next month, I'll definitely pay a large bonus. Hearing this, my heart clenched. I immediately left quietly, returning to the banquet room as if nothing had happened. A moment later, Luna Jiang also returned as if nothing was amiss. After the banquet, while waiting for a car at the entrance, she, as expected, offered to ride with us, wanting to go home with us. I nodded in agreement. As we got closer to home, I stared intently at my phone. Finally, my best friend, Jasmine Kim, messaged me back. Pure bow, everything's done. My heart finally relaxed. We got out of the car and went home. Opening the door, the entire house was dark, not a single light on. I switched on the lights. The atmosphere in the house was eerily quiet. Luna Jiang, with a suspicious expression, strode into the living room, her eyes scanning everywhere as if searching for something. The moment she stepped into the living room, I pulled my parents back and quickly slammed the front door shut. That door had a timer lock that I set from my phone. It would only open automatically after 24 hours. The entire villa had also been equipped with signal blockers. Luna Jiang, you brought these people here yourself and set this hellish trap for my mother and me with your own hands. Now, enjoy the consequences yourself. On the way back to the banquet room, I had messaged Jasmine Kim about the situation. Jasmine Kim immediately brought people to my house. The thugs who broke into the house had all been drugged. They were thrown onto the second floor. Luna Jiang was their antidote. Pure bow, take uncle and auntie to my place for the night. Jasmine Kim's parents were both abroad. The villa was only occupied by Jasmine Kim. I thought for a moment and agreed. I also told my parents what Luna Jiang had intended to do to us tonight. My mother, though somewhat reluctant, ultimately said nothing more. The next evening, when we returned to our villa, Luna Jiang had been tortured to the point of being unrecognizable. Fortunately, she was still barely alive, but she couldn't speak. Her tongue was severely damaged, her pelvis was bent and twisted, and both her wrists were completely broken. I reported it to the police. Before that, my parents, Jasmine Kim, and I had prepared our statements. We had gone home with Luna Jiang. But as soon as we reached the door, Jasmine Kim's housekeeper called me, saying that Jasmine Kim missed her parents, got drunk, and was causing trouble, wanting me to go over. My parents were not at ease letting me go alone. Thinking that Jasmine Kim was someone they had raised, they went with me to her house. The police finished their investigation and confirmed that we had no connection to the thugs. They were all Luna Jiang's people, and of course, they didn't dare to reveal the truth. The incident was concluded as an assembly for immoral activities, resulting only in administrative penalties and temporary detention. That was it. Luna Jiang didn't dare to pursue anything further. She could only swallow her hatred and bear the consequences of her own actions. During her time in the hospital, I visited her. Seeing her lying helpless in the hospital bed, barely breathing, I couldn't help but let out a laugh. Luna Jiang, how does it feel to shoot yourself in the foot? She struggled, trying to say something, but couldn't utter a single word. Haha, if she had just lived peacefully from the start, even if I wanted revenge, I would have only sent her to prison. But she kept trying to cause trouble, so this outcome is what she deserves. She was trying to pull out her IV and get off the bed, looking utterly miserable. I shook my head, turned, and left the hospital room. My uncle and aunt had learned about her past work at the nightclub and immediately severed ties. They considered raising another child to replace her, though it was uncertain if they would succeed since they had tried for years without having another child. Not to mention, because of organizing Grandma's birthday, Luna Jiang not only maxed out her credit cards, but also borrowed heavily through various financial apps. Her total debt amounted to approximately 200,000 yuan. She called Ms. Wang to borrow money, only to be harshly scolded. Ms. Wang was a businesswoman who never took a loss. No one was willing to help Luna Jiang anymore. Before long, she died in the hospital. The debt she left behind was borne by my uncle and aunt. They came to my house to borrow money, but after Grandma's birthday incident, all pretense was gone. My parents were firm and refused to lend them money. My father even fired my uncle. Even if my grandparents intervened, this matter couldn't be swayed. They sought out other relatives for loans, but everyone knew about Luna Jiang's story and considered it bad luck. No one wanted to get involved.